Right, it's March the 17th, Friday. The second time I've filmed this video. I filmed it the other day and lost 2 hours of work. So I was not a happy bunny. Anyway, before we get into it, big massive thank you to Alan, John H and Rancho Brian for using the My Coffee app. You are seriously keeping me going and the dogs. Anyway, I've had some good news though. Let's see if he's here. You about? Now come on. Surprising him a bit. Yeah, you're brave sitting there with the doors open.
Yeah.
You're just doing it. No. I'm filming it again. I could have cried, I tell you.
No.
I told you, didn't I? Anyway, I didn't save the bloody thing and lost 2 hours worth of video of you and me having a good chat.
Narrowboat. Always do it again, take two.
Well, we are doing it again. Fucking filming, aren't I? Oh. I've got some good news.
Yeah, come on.
I've got a job.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the agency rang me this morning and said they've got this
There's been a full inquiry.
get me copyrighted.
Yeah, have a sit there.
Got this job at a wood recycling yard.
A wood recycling yard, that's pretty handy.
Yeah. So that'd be good. There was two jobs. Well, I thought there was two jobs. There's 20 hours and 40 hours.
Yeah.
And the 20 hours is cleaning, and then the 40 hours is like cutting up wood and all sorts of bits and pieces. I think, I'm not sure till I get there. But I said I'd start with the 20 hours. But then when he checked again, they said well, we can start on 20 hours, but hopefully he'll get up to 40 hours.
So is that goodish money, or is it?
Yeah, 12.80 something an hour.
That's not too bad.
Ain't too bad, no. My camera looks like it's tracking like the picture on it. I don't know. I'll tell you what, it's your lights, I think.
Okay.
Don't matter.
They are a pain in the arse, them lights. I've never bought a set of lights that don't bleed and work.
Yeah, but they just, if you look at the camera picture, like, it's,
Yeah, that's them lights. I'll move them back a bit.
yeah, he's doing moving back. So I was pleased about that.
That's where that one went. Here I lose it there.
Bloody Riddick peed up mine and blew the fuse on it. So have you got any 13? It's not funny. I've got 5 batteries, right? It takes me forever to charge them, because normally if you've got 2 on the go, you can, once you've got 2 charged, you can start using them, and while you're using, like, getting through 2, then you can have another 2, cheers, another 2 working.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah. That one there's a French one for a grinder. I didn't get the bigger. Move up a bit. Voila.
I'll tell you what, if you move that light, so I'll move that light.
Yeah, I'll move that.
If you move that light down a bit, and then I'll put this on the table.
Is that better?
No.
I'll move them down there. Who's that?
Yeah, and I don't know. Go and sit down, and I'll put this on here, and then I can see what it looks like.
There you go. Oh.
That looks better, I think. I wonder what this lot thinks.
Oh.
Hold on, let me put it down a little bit. Yeah, that's better.
That's sort of quack.
Eh?
Sort of quack.
What did you say?
Oh.
Remember, you're letting everyone know in the world. Go on.
Yeah, he's sorted out all my medication, so
What, you
that's
diabetic?
the first step. Yeah. Yeah. Sorted all that out. I've got to get it up and running, because I'm running out of gear. If I run out of insulin, I'm in big trouble.
Now, you have to take insulin. I didn't think you did.
Yeah, Christ,
What, jabs?
Yeah.
What?
EpiPens.
Oh, you haven't got the needle. You don't have to use the needles yourself.
Well, they are needles, but you
Yeah, I know,
travel
but it's in
away.
a gun, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you change the. What's the name there? I do two types: a long dury one and a.
Oh no, yeah.
There's empty one. That's the what's the name one there. That's out of date though.
Nova Rapid, yeah, it's a quick one.
And that's a long dury one. I'll take 2 10s of these
names.
and 24 of them. 10 in the morning, 10 dinner time, and then 24 of them in the night.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be
And then all that fucking lot as well.
Jesus Christ, I'll have to have a look through there.
Huh?
I'll have a look through there. Obviously useful pills and posters for me.
Well, the only thing you'd be interested in is not Coda one. Bloody, I can't remember the name of stuff.
What are you saying?
It's fizzy ones.
Fizzy ones?
Yeah.
Well, I like things that are fizzy.
It's
Does it make you feel fizzy?
No, it kills the pain straight away.
What about if you're not in pain?
Huh?
What about if you're not in pain?
If you're not in pain, you wouldn't be allowed to have them.
Oh, fuck's sake. But you'd let me have some anyway, wouldn't you?
No, only for toothache.
I've got toothache.
Only for
We're watching telly actually while you're watching the video. Me and Dave.
Well, John came on this morning, this afternoon.
Did he?
So yeah.
Which John?
You know, John from the boatyard.
Oh right. I'm coming to have a look round.
He said they got a boat lift in April,
Oh, that's good.
supposedly. So I
How
don't know
many-
what
how
sort of
many-
boat lift it is. I don't know.
You don't know how many people then?
No.
Well, I think Brendan wants to go in at the end.
Brendan.
Brendan, he got the black dog. He's there. We've got. I'm not sure if he's got an Harley now, but he comes in. The boat right opposite mine, opposite Merlin. It's right on the next to the.
Oh, right
slipway.
next to the slipway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There in front of the shed. There, that one. He's been here 3 years, I think.
3 years, Christ.
Yeah. It's got 3 holes on that boat.
3 holes.
Yeah. Been overplated 3 times in places. So that's like slapping 3 lots of plaster on it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't know what happens to the rust in between the old hull and the new plate, you know?
Well, that's what I'd worry. That's what I would worry about. But then Merlin's been half replated. Merlin's been half replated.
How old's Merlin then?
50 odd years old. Mid 70s, 75, 76.
So how old's that? 70, 80, 90.
My must have no good. 50 odd years.
Yeah.
50 years, isn't it, at least? 65, 75, I'll be. It's coming up to 50
50 years. that's
50
quite old,
years.
isn't it?
If it's 1976, something like that.
I think the price of boats are dropping a bit now.
Is it?
Well, I think they're levelling out. I don't think there is a shortage as
Oh, there's not a
there used
shortage.
to
I
be.
don't think they're selling like.
Yeah.
I actually went. When I bought Merlin, it was at a time when people were selling, putting their boats up for sale, and they were selling the same day. I actually got turned away after travelling. Oh, I was real pissed off about that. I travelled. And what was even funnier, I didn't actually have the money with me, or I didn't actually have the money at the time to buy this thing, but I was still out really, really pissed off with the people, and they knew it and all. This woman knew it and all, because I went there, drove for miles, and she was seeing, like, letting other people look at the boat that day, and she just sold it to the person in front of me before I got a chance to look at it. And I've driven like 2 hours or whatever, and all the fuel like to get there, and never even got a chance to even put an offer in. Yeah, so I mean, that was
Did
really
it go for more
annoying.
than she was advertising? Or?
No, she took an offer on it.
Oh.
You either paid her what she wanted, what it was up for, or took an offer. But if you booked somebody else that day to come in and look at it, you should say to the first person, like, well, yeah, I would accept the offer, but you've got to understand I've got someone else coming in, so I'll get back to you and let you know what they've offered me, if they've offered me even more than what you have, you know, to be fair, because the person's like spent best part of 50 quid getting there. You know, at least let them look at it, because I might have had the money on me I might have had the money in my pocket, like put more money and said, well, there you go, I really love the boat. He wants 6, he's fucking 7.
Yeah.
And took it there and then. But not to give someone the chance. I think that's bang out of order.
Yeah, I had a look around. I looked at 5, 10 different marinas all around, different places. Rugby boats down the bottom there, and near Northampton, I think it is.
I had the choice of a couple of boats. Merlin was one of them, and there was another one at the same time around the same price, and that was that was a mishmash. That had a Victorian a Victorian front to it, and a more modern back, been joined together. Yeah, there was a split cut and shut. Yeah, so that was quite interesting though, because it had a working boat, it'd been made out of working boat front.
With a modern.
Well, just the fact the hull was Victorian. I love anything Victorian. Right, I think Bessie's probably Victorian, but I'm not sure. But if Bessie's coming up to 70, 80 years old. 1946. How old that make it? 1946. Supposedly.
That's 46, 56, 66, 76, 86. What am I on about? 56, 66, 76, 86, 96, 2000. That's 50 years, isn't it?
It's more than that. We're 2023.
Well, 2000, that's 50, 60, 70, about 68, isn't it? 60, 78, something like that.
We can't, even us can count, can we? But someone will know. Someone will know what 1946.
Yeah. 1946.
But then there's other
56,
sides.
66, 76, 86, 96, 2000.
2026.
2010. No, yeah, 2010, 2020. 50, 60, 70, 80s, yes, 80. You said 3, so that's
83 years old.
83-year-old, 73-year-olds.
73.
Maybe, yeah, something like that.
Well, it's still old, isn't it? Anything over 70 years old is bloody old, isn't it?
I mean, I'm fucking 76.
Well,
so that fucking thing was.
you're not 76,
nearly.
you're 67.
67, yeah, sorry. It's a dyslexic kicking it.
Yeah. I didn't know it came out verbally.
It does, it comes out. Yeah, numbers are a pain in the ass, I tell you.
You don't understand numbers.
Well, it's what gets muddled up in your head.
Oh, right, yeah. Because when you were talking about dozens, you come out with thousands.
But the trouble is when you've been away from the English language for 20 odd years,
yeah, that's true.
It's difficult to communicate.
I was getting
the first 3 months I was here was a bloody nightmare.
I was feeling like that down the warehouse after a few weeks. I'm starting to forget how to speak English.
Yeah, you can understand what it's like. Yeah. I mean, when I first came over, I had to sort out all my banking because this thing, they think you're robbing money or laundering money or whatever you're doing, and sorting the bank out, and you go in and you start talking. There's a nice lady on the door, and she says, can I help you? And you say, oui. There's a lady. She pussy for searchy for so la la la, and they just stand there and look at you, you know. And then when you finish speaking, she said, I didn't understand a word of that. And then you realise you were talking French, you know. And then you got to find all the little words for French, like, you know, because you lose it, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, lucky my missus speaks French, and my daughter over there speaks English, and my daughter speaks English over there. So,
but I was,
you talk English in the house. But we always said with the kids, we'd always speak French whenever the kids are about. Effie and Kiara and that, we always speak French because they need to learn how to speak the language, you know.
Yeah, but a lot of people coming into the UK don't think like that. They don't want to speak another language, you know. They're quite happy speaking their own language and just create another community within a community, and that just doesn't work very well.
You got no choice in France, no choice at all. You either speak the language and understand the language, or you die. It's simple as that. Because when you go in hospital, everything's in French. If you don't understand French, you don't understand French. And if you ask somebody to help you, there's some that will, but there's a lot that won't. And documentation, if you go in and you need to fill out a form or something, it's in French. And if you ask for it in English, they turn around and look at you and say, no, you're living in France. Are you live in France, or you just on holiday? So, no, I live in France. Well, you should learn how to speak the language. That's what they say. That's how it is. Because they got, well, I don't know, it's difficult to say. They bloody minded a lot of French. They'll cut their nose off, spite their face. You know, they got morals and they stick to them, I think.
Well, yeah, we've lost ours, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's just...
It's just progress, I suppose.
Everything moves so fast over here. That's the first thing I noticed when I came back, was the speed that everything moves.
Yeah, there seems to be this obsession with that something is better if it's faster. You know, like faster internet, faster this, faster that, faster boiling your bloody kettle. Everything seems that we seem to be under the impression that there's some, you know, some great thing about everything being faster. But at what point is it fast enough?
Well, I've done a bit of work for somebody and went into the house, and you get coffee and all that, and coffee's much to be desired over. Yeah, they offer you coffee and that, and then she said, "Well, would you like to, you know, have something for dinner? I'll do something for dinner, like, you know." And they don't actually sit down at a table and eat dinner. They eat everything on the hoof, with a sandwich in one hand and a mobile phone in the other.
Well, that's a good way of getting indigestion.
You know? And that. Yeah. Where if I go and work, do a job for Mary Gigu or someone like that, an old lady, and go up, do the work, and 12 o'clock she'd shout to you, it's dinner time. You'd go in, wash your hands, get everything sorted about 12:30. A couple of other different people will turn up, you know, neighbours and that will turn up, and they all sit down at the table and they have aperitifs to start with, and then, you know, it's a, what do you call it? It's difficult. Trying to think of the word for it. It's something they do every time. It's a procedure they follow when they eat, you know. And it's surprising when I went over there.
Etiquette.
No, not etiquette. It's like it's a procedure they do. It's they won't eat. They don't eat salad till they have the cheese at the end of the meal. You know. And.
They have learned though what sets your stomach up for a good,
right.
digest food.
You start with a drink like an aperitif, which is normally like a mint drink or something like that. You know, occasionally they'll put eau de vie in there, but normally you know you get that peppermint, and that just helps your stomach to start digesting food. You know, things like that. But they when I went over, I was taking indigestion tablets and God knows what.
I went to Egypt. Where was it? Yeah, I went to was it Egypt or Tunisia? This happened. No, wait a minute. I think it was Tunisia. I went with one of my ex-girlfriends to Tunisia, and we was in this hotel, and a lot of them countries, I noticed this with Norway as well, to Norway, but it's a cold country, but even the African countries, they'll eat eggs and meat, and especially Norway, they eat meats and that for breakfast, where is in the UK, it's all more about eating bowls of porridge and Weetabix and cornflakes and like cereals, like that there, they'll eat meat for like lunch and breakfast sausage and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so you have all different meats for breakfast. Yeah. And there was this bubbling, like in the hotel, there's some not that I'm slagging off Northerners, but there happened to be some Northerners in there. And they obviously hadn't been abroad before. Anyway, they've gone into it was a buffet thing, like buffet breakfast. Help yourself. They've got all these different metal trays with this stuff, and there was this one pot of bubbling meat. Well, I'll tell you what, you lift it, all I got as far as lifting the lid on it, right? It was just like something, I mean, like something you'd see on an alien fucking film or whatever. It's this bubbling plate of God knows what in there. I'm not going to eat that. But they did. I had boiled egg. You are eating eggs, because the boiled eggs, they're normally alright, because there's nothing gets into them. So I was eating eggs and imported yogurts that were sealed. And that's what was my breakfast, and toast and things like that, right? But they ate this fucking meat. Like the family of them, the mum, the dad and the kids. So they've all eaten this meat. So I never see them for about 2 days after the holiday. And they come back. In the meantime, I've been to the market where these people are buying, where the hotel's probably getting the food from. And the smell. I mean, they gut things and just leave it there on the floor. I was reaching and they had this meat hanging up. What was probably in that saucepan in the hotel, meat hanging up, and if there was an inch without flies on it, that would have been good. But it was smothered in flies, like, you know. Best meat in Cairo, 5 million flies, can't be wrong. And they fucking eating this stuff, right? And shit's really good. They call it the Pharaoh's Revenge, but they said the dad like said to me, "God, we ate some of that like stew." He said, "God, blimey," I said, "Stew." God, I didn't tell him what I'd seen at the market, but anyway, he was.
You can't be sure that.
He did put it. Oh, I could be sure it was. Anybody could be sure it was if you just opening the lid and.
Could have been camel, couldn't it? I suppose.
Could have been anything, but the point was it's smothered in flies before it gets cooked. So you're getting all whatever they've left on it, and they just cook it, don't they? They don't give a fuck.
A certain time of the year in Flora, they used to do a meal. The mayor would cook a meal for the whole or surrounding village and everybody. You pay for the meal, like I think it's about €8 a head, something like that. As a bottle of wine and sweet and meal, the lot. They used to do food called a lung de boeuf. That's the tongue of a cow.
Oh God.
Well, your parents used to eat that.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, they did.
Not my parents, maybe grandparents. My
Well,
parents
maybe grandparents
would eat.
and,
I grew up having to
We used
eat.
to have sliced ham, and then they used to slice tongue of cow.
And
That's what they call it, tongue. They used
Well,
to
I
say
know
I'll have
that.
a quarter tongue. And that's what it was. Yeah.
I can't help thinking about when I bite my own tongue, what that feels like. It don't feel
But
very good.
Well, it doesn't taste like anything really. It depends what sauce they cook it in.
Oh,
If they
God.
do it in, a garlic sauce, and that's bloody horrible, absolutely horrible.
It'd be horrible
But they do
wherever
one-
you have it.
But they do. Yannick done it with a beef, like a beef powder on it. He puts like a powder all over it, like a beef powder, and then you put a little bit of hot water in it. It turns into a gravy. And it's really, and onions. It's really nice. Shallots you use, really nice. But
That's a
I ate that.
Personal
But what I like not the tip end. I like the middle bit.
Oh,
I don't like the tonsil end.
Oh,
I
you
like the
can't-
middle bit, not the tip end,
Shut
right?
up.
So they're coming along with this thing, and they slice it, and they put it on your plate, because the tongue's on the big thing, and then they start slicing it, and they put it on your plate as they come to you, like, you know. So the lady, I thought,
Do they have a machine like another tongue that
no,
cleans,
she's got
cleans these
got
tongues before they
proper,
you get them?
proper knife.
Well,
Anyway,
all phlegm all over them or something.
she's coming up to me, and I'm thinking, shit, it's the beginning part of the tongue, and I don't like the beginning part of the tongue. I prefer the middle bit. So anyway, I said to her, is it possible for retour? Because je pas manger là, je mange là. So you don't like tongue? Or she said, tu pas manger le langue de boeuf? I said, oui, but c'est pas là. So anyway, that was that. Off she went. Anyway, Yannick came over and he said, I can cook you something else if you don't like the tongue. I said, no. I like the tongue, but I like the middle bit. Well, he spoke good English, so he sort of said, all right, fair enough. So he brought me out this plate with a thing on, and there was a farmer next to me, a good friend of ours. Farmer sat next to me, and he said, David, you don't like langue de boeuf? I said, well, it's in the head, isn't it? When you're eating a tongue of a cow, it's in your head. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you got to remember the last thing that cow done was licher le derrière. He licked his ass. And the whole restaurant was absolutely in fits of laughter, yeah.
No, but the only thing I'd be worried about is if you went in there as an Englishman and you was learning French, or your French wasn't too good, and you wanted to say
My French was never too good.
and say you wanted to order rump steak with tongue, you don't end up ordering tongue in arse. Or something.
Yeah.
Or something like
Well,
that.
they look at you when you say well done. There's no such thing in France as well done. There's blue, which is raw. They just go ch, that's it, on your plate. And then you got on point, which is like medium rare. And there ain't no well done. If you ask for well done, they look at you as just, and they'll burn it. They'll actually roast it like charcoal, you know. And it's true, the way you eat your beef is, raw beef is nothing like it, man.
I won't be eating raw beef.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. They do a vinaigrette, raw beef, sliced beef, slices of it.
That's
And then you get a vinaigrette and you
cannibalism.
drop it in the vinaigrette and stick it on your plate. Leave it there for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. You're eating other bits and pieces, and then eat it. It's beautiful. And wine, Gordon, but I can still buy a bottle of Bordeaux over there. Trying to think of the name of it. But I can still buy a bottle of Bordeaux over there for €3.20. Yeah. I went in town the other day and I spotted a bottle of Bordeaux that I recognised. Although I didn't recognise the screwed cap that came with it, but yeah, recognise it. They wanted £8.60 for a bottle of wine.
So over double.
Gordon Bennett. We used to drink 2 bottles a day.
I did hear that the French wine growers really. I mean, there was a guy I used to know who drive lorries and that, and sometimes he'd go to some of the vineyards for deliveries or whatever. And he said they'd let you have, if you took your own bottles in there, like you take in a couple of plastic cans or something. They didn't mind filling it up out the barrel. But he said, but what they won't give you is the glass bottles are what really cost the money.
Yeah.
Not the wine.
Yeah. Everybody recycles their wine bottles. It all goes into a recycling bin.
Well, that's what they said. The main cost is the main value in that wine really is the bottle, not the wine itself.
And you know, it costs more to clean that bottle out than it does to smash it up and remake it.
Really?
Yeah. When they recycle the wine bottles, you don't put them in a recycling bin and then they wash them out and reuse them. They crush them up and they make them back into bottles again. Yeah, there's a massive, quite big bottling plant in Carre that does it. But yeah, if you go to a tobacco, you can take down they don't like to put it in a 50-gallon drum, but there's like a Dijon type container, glass container, and they fill that up, a gallon of wine. Yeah, you can't beat the food out, I must admit. It's good stuff.
Pretty good.
But they do like offal.
No.
Huh?
I wouldn't be eating offal.
Well, I eat heart and all sorts, kidney, lungs, all sorts. Yeah. I don't mind a steak kidney pie over here, it's pretty good. Fish and chips. Why do they give you 6.5 shovelfuls of chips?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I've
never yet finished half. I only ever been able to eat half the chips that they give you in a chip shop. And they charge you £7 for fish and chips. If they give you half the chips, they could charge you £4, couldn't they? You know.
Well, I don't know. It's efficient. It costs the money.
I suppose maybe that's what it is. Teddies are cheap, so they give them away. And the fish, they
fill you up.
Always a
with
fair
potatoes.
sized bit of fish. What I mean, the fish is always a massive, quite big bit of fish.
Yeah. Perhaps we could just eat more when we was younger.
Yeah. Well, I see, coming from Brixham and Torquay and that, you.
Why did you decide to get a boat then? Why not?
Well, here.
Yeah.
Well, because it's just a cheap way of being able to come to England and stay in England for a while.
Yeah.
Really. When you look at the price of houses and that, well, there was a couple of places that I could have done up. I'd looked at a few places I could have ripped to pieces and done up. There was one up in Scotland, really nice, really nice. But old stone cottage, but totally derelict. Complete renovation, but the footprint, it was almost good, and it had outbuildings as well, so you could live in the outbuilding and then redo the house. Yeah, it was pretty good, and it was a good price as well. I reckon I could have tripled my money on that easy, no problem, in 12 months. But a lot of hard work. I mean, you just moving the stone from the one I built in Plurac in, I'm trying to think of the name of the place now. Carlouet Vraz. Carlouet Vraz. I built one in Carlouet Vraz there, and that was a hell of a lot of stone to move.
What, you built an house there?
Yeah, complete stone house. Yeah. Or modern stone house. I've put a concrete slab in. He was 7 meters 500 that way, inside dimensions to the wall, and he was, I can't think what he was. The length of this boat, what's it, 18 meters, isn't it? 20 meters, 18, 20 meters. long, and put a breeze block concrete pad in, reinforced concrete pad, because it's slate out there, and the trouble with slate is it lies in the ground like that. Where I was anyway, it was lying in the ground like that. And what happens is we were on a bit of a hill, and when the water gets in it, the slate will slip. And that can cause problems with the house. So we built a fully reinforced floating raft on top of it.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't matter, even if the slate slid away, it would still support the house, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You could actually put belts in under the house and lift the whole house up, put it on a lorry. Sort of.
Really?
Well, yeah, the raft that we built
What's the raft
is strong
made
enough.
out of?
It's all concrete reinforced metal. Yeah. All
Was it like a
concrete.
giant box?
Well, you got the soil in the ground. Yeah, we dug a trench 600 mil deep down till we started hitting slate. Yeah, so we dug that right down to there. We put gravel in the bottom of the trench to level it off, and then we built reinforcing bars all inside the trenches. Then there was 100 mil by 100 mil reinforced sheets, 3 metre sheets went across all all wired together.
The wire mesh ones.
And then we put it's like triangular reinforcing bar like that. You wire that to the bottom mesh, and then you wire it to the top mesh. So you put one triangle in that way round, and the next triangle you put in that way round. And you wire all of the mesh, and it makes it really, you can virtually walk on it without bending. And it goes in there. Polystyrene goes under that, and a membrane goes under that. And then I can't remember how many cubic. We had 6 lorry loads of concrete went in there.
On top of that?
Yeah, all went in, filled it all up with concrete, and vibrated it all in with you get what they call a dongle. It's like a bloody great big metal thing with steel balls inside of it, and it pumps air through the thing, and it makes it vibrate. You drop that down in the concrete, and you can fill a box up with concrete like that, yeah, and stick this dongle in there, and it'll go down about 3/4 full. It sort of like really compacts all the bits together, like, you know. Yeah, so fully reinforced concrete raft, and then 150 mil breeze block on the inside. From the very inside, you had 13 mil plasterboard, 100 millimeters of polystyrene, 150 millimeters of breeze block, and then 450 millimeters of stone.
Fucking hell. That's quite a thick wall.
Oh yeah, it's about that one. About that thick. Yeah. All concrete corner like on the corner of the building, you got a large block of granite that way, with just a small bit there, and then you put a large block of granite this way, and build them like that. Coin stones, they call them, all the way up.
Coin stones?
Coin stones, yeah. They go up all right the way up to the top of the building with a wall plate. But the breeze block inside, you got to the top of the window, or where the windowsill is, you put concrete beam all the way around it, obviously not past the doors, you start at the door and finish at the door, but you put concrete ring beam all the way around, that's reinforced. And then you go from the base of the window, or the windowsill, up to the top of the window, and then you put another reinforced concrete beam all the way around it. And then I went then 890 millimeters up off the floor, so that's 270 mil above the head of the window. I then went 890 mil up above that, and put another concrete ring beam round, and that gave me that sort of height before the roof started coming up on a 42 degree angle. I built it in like that because all the bedrooms are in the roof.
No, right.
Yeah, so you got a living
like
room.
Like Hobbit's house.
Well, not really. It's a single story, cottagey sort of thing, but with bedrooms in the house, in the roof.
So, is it what sort of roof? Like, is it tiles on the outside of the roof?
Slates, ardoise.
Slates.
Ardoise, yeah. And I had the little ones, 160s by 200s, I think, or something like that. No, 160s, no. 120s, 120 by 200s. Could have been something like that.
So tell me, you was in the army for 6 months, and you come out of that, and how did you tell me that story again? Where you got the engineering job because you helped that guy out.
Oh, the old boy that had a heart
He
attack.
lost that in all that fucking video I missed.
Yeah, the old guy had a heart. Well, I was just driving along because the old man had a scrapyard, and we used to do 24-hour breakdown. I was coming back with a Land
How old
Rover.
was you then?
Oh Christ, yeah.
16,
No, hang
17?
on. What would that have been? I started working with the old man. It'd been 16, about 16, 17 years old. And I was coming back with a Land Rover with a what they call an ambulance on the back. Basically 2 wheels with a long bar on it. You put it under the front suspension of the car, push it down, and it lifts the car up. And you connect on the back of the Land Rover, and then you pull the car away. I was coming back with that one, and there was a Rover. It was a Rover 2000.
Oh, what the 19s, early 70s?
Yeah, really old. Yeah,
well, the big heavy ones that had the fins on the back.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I'll tell you stuff. One, the landlady of Rover Returned.
Oh, right, yeah, I know the one you mean, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know the one. It was a P6, I think, or something like that.
I'm not sure. It was in the ditch, it was.
Yeah.
And I went over
It's
the
a
old
big
guy,
old heavy car.
and the old guy couldn't catch his breath. And it turns out that he had an engineering company. And he offered me an apprenticeship because I came out of the army because I wanted to learn an engineering apprenticeship in the army, but they weren't interested in that. They just want to give me a gun to shoot somebody, and in Northern Ireland. I said I don't want to. I'm not doing that. So I came out, but yeah. So he offered me an engineering apprenticeship, and I'd done an engineer day release at Torquay Technical College, and done a Turner toolmaker. In the end, I was running 4 2-inch semi-automatic EMI semi-automatic turning machines, and that, when they say semi-automatic, they're automatic, but it runs on air and hydraulic
program. I mean, what
it's pegboard. It's pegboard programming. It's a bizarre, bit like the old telephone exchange type thing. But instead of being cables, when you put a pin in, it's the air could come from here through and then down into whatever. It was all air and hydraulic, and yeah, I'd and then there was 5 1-inch and 2-inch machines. I used to run them. You just slide a 3-meter bar in, slip it in, and it just continually turn the same thing over and over again. Done that. That's tool setter that was then. And then when they wanted special tools made up for, he made bag sealers and all that sort of stuff, plastic injection modes and all that making up. Then we'd do that. But Bert, no, I can't think. I never remember Bert's name. Fred Salter was the guy that done the turning. He was a turner there, and I was like his apprentice. And yeah, done that. That was pretty good. About 3 years, I think. 2, 3 years, 4 years.
And then what after you left there?
I left. Well, Vic Bedford shut it down because there was no work coming in. They'd send it all off to Germany, or they didn't have the work. So plus the unions were causing trouble, and he said it would just want worth the hassle. As
they did in the 70s.
Well,
and 80s.
they were on strike every other bleeding day of the week. I mean, the guy that was trade union shop steward before I took it over was a guy called Red Fred, they used to call him, and all you had to do was fart and they were out on strike. It's bloody crazy. And then they voted him out and voted me in, and the first couple of times we went with the strike, and the last couple of times we said no, we're not doing it. It's nothing to do with us. What they're striking about down at Centrax is nothing to do with us. It's just crazy. And a lot of the boys couldn't afford to lose their wages because you didn't get wages. If you went on strike, you didn't get wages. The union paid you a supplementary amount of money, but not that much. A lot of boys couldn't afford to be on strike. No. We ended up getting in the Old Express. They called us the Moonlight Workforce because they had pickets outside the fences, and in the morning, and Vic phoned me up and said, there's pickets outside the fence. I won't bother to come in. You'll never get through the gates because they completely blocked the gates. I said, that's all right. I said, I'm going to a meeting with the other boys. We were going to have a meeting that day to talk about what we were going to do. And I mentioned it to them there, and they said, well, what about working night shifts? When they were leaving, we were arriving. So we'd done that. We worked a night shift, and then we maybe do another night shift, and then a day shift, and then a night shift. They call us an elusive workforce, which is not that good because I got thrown out the AEU. Never to return.
What AAU? What was that?
Amalgamated Union of Engineering Workers. Yeah. So that's all I went, and Went back down scrapyard doing some bits for the old man,
Mm.
and a bloke came in with an old transit pickup thingamajig and wanted it sorted out, and I sorted it out with him. He said, "Hey, you're quite a handy lad. Would you fancy giving us a hand, do some building work?" And I started work with him, and he had a JCB, learned how to drive a JCB, dig the foundations. We built a place for a guy called Andrew International, who's a hairdresser in Newton Abbot. We built from foundation right up to top of the roof. I had 2 cousins actually coming and work. Now Norman was a specialist bricklayer. He liked brick and stone work. And I was trying to think what the other one was called. I can't remember his name now. It's gone. He came in and done some plumbing work. Yeah. So we were doing that all over, up on moors all over the place. Renovating houses and doing a lot of places up on the moors and Bickington and in around there. They had places made of timber. Because when the army was there and that, they left a lot of timber buildings about, and a lot of people turned them into bungalows and houses, and of course they rot out, don't they? So, but the thing about those buildings, the roofs are really good, because what they make the actual roof and timbers out is really hard timber. I don't know where the hell they got it from. Really good timber. So the roofs were good, but the walls were falling to bits. So what you should do was get aqua props and prop up the corner of the building, and then they had a little mini digger. You should dig out the corner of this building, so in the foundation, pour concrete in, put breeze blocks in to support that part of the building, and then go to the other corner, do the same there, prop the roof up, build the coin in there, do the same over there and same over. Sometimes they were T-shaped, so you had like 6 corners to build, and build the corners up, and then just infill with breeze blocks when it's all done. So like building a house in under or bungalow in under the bleeding roof, like, you know. Yeah, it's possible to do. It wasn't difficult really. But yeah, Nick Hunt.
What did you do after that?
After the building, shop fitting them.
Oh, yeah. You did all
Brother, I had a garage. I always had a garage. Because I always repaired cars and that. I built a duck and kit car and a Cobra.
AC Cobra.
AC Cobra, yeah.
You built one of them?
Yeah, it was one that had been smashed up, and I straightened it out and put it back together again.
Well, AC Cobra.
Yeah. Not the real McCoy. It was a kit car one.
Well, Dax one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a kit car one.
Yeah, of course, Dax ones.
Yeah, it had the V8 Rover with a Jaguar axle on it. V8 Rover, mid-mounted engine.
What was it?
The engine, the thing was right in the centre of your back, right
Oh,
in the back
right.
of your, right in the centre of your back, yeah.
It was a bit noisy.
All Jaguar front suspension discs and rear discs. The only thing you had to do with the drive shafts, you had to cut them down and re-weld them up to shorten them a bit.
How fast did that go?
It was pretty quick. Yeah, it was pretty quick. Not the speed wasn't about it was the power, you know. When you put your foot down, you know. That was B50 grabbers on the back end, on the arse end of that one. They had tyres about that wide, like.
Yeah, the tyres on them. I've seen an original Cobra, AC Cobra, and the tyres on that were really ridiculously wide.
Oh, the kit car would want a spec on the
No,
real thing, like, you know.
No, I've seen the real thing. Though. I knew someone imported them.